I'd like to suggest is that we now discuss in broader terms your reactions to this event and to these proposals. And perhaps the best way is that you each come up and come right up to the camera, and we can hear you well, because if you talk from the back I won't be able to hear you. Would you like to come up? Who would like to say something about what, I'd like to understand, you see, what you who work in different branches of activity, how relevant this event is to the people you know and the people you work with. Right, well, here's somebody, I don't know whether you can see me pointing. There's a gentleman there in a white pullover, I think.
That'll be me. There you go.
Okay, would you like to come up and just tell us your reactions? We know what branch of, I can't see you there. Come a bit this way, that's right. That's right, if you sit in the corner there, that's perfect.
That's perfect. I'm just on the edge of the screen now. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Hi there.
So where do you work, and what sense do you make of all this?
I work for the library service. I'm a library assistant. I came to the Deptford one actually, so I'm cheating and I'm coming again. Excuse me. And on the back of the Deptford one, I came up with an idea which I forwarded to our managers of perhaps developing the idea of a discussion group that we could have in the libraries on the back of these ideas that we're having here. Because I really like the idea of having conversations, meaningful conversations, either influence, sort of like taking the ideas from the video or from the conversation menu itself. Sorry, can you hear me? From the conversation menus itself, and I like the idea of like developing that as maybe a skill that maybe young people could benefit from, particularly the idea of discussion, arranging their thoughts to give a sort of like comprehensive and logical set of arguments or something like that, you know, give them a subject to discuss, maybe give them material, ideas for material, something that we could provide at the group itself, and then obviously that would go along with the idea of like using the library for issues, as well as, because for me personally, and I suppose this is where I got the idea from, was that there are lots of groups in the library, and most of them are actually reading groups, which personally I don't usually read novels myself. I'm more the non-fiction person, and I particularly like the ideas of philosophies and belief systems and, you know, political approaches or stuff like that. So I think there's always a forum for that type of discussion to be had, which I, you know, very much like your ideas of turning work into something a bit, or turning these other spaces like marketplaces where you used to have entertainment on the street and something like that, and they've just turned into supermarkets now, and we've lost that. And I really like that idea.
I think you said something important, two things which are important. One is you said that people have got to develop the skill of conversing. The idea that anybody can just converse, you know, naturally, is like saying they can dance, you know, ballroom dancing without any lessons. And secondly, you're right to emphasize non-fiction, because we want them to talk about, in order to converse well, you've got to have information. You can't talk out of the top of your head. And the idea that anybody can be a good orator It's true, he might be a populist orator, just exciting crowds, but a good conversation is an exchange of knowledge and experience. And therefore, in non-fiction, you can link the acquisition of information, which is what a library provides, with an exchange of information and an exchange of opinion. Then, the third point you make is, how can something come of it? It isn't just talk. And how can work, with the way people suffer at work, how can that be improved? And we've got to do it ourselves because no one else is going to do it for us. So what you say is very good, and I hope that you'll think about how to implement this. And it's a major step for libraries. They're not just passive servers of people, giving cakes to everybody who comes. They're teaching them how to bake the cake and how to think about it and what to do with it and so on. And this would be I think it is a necessary step because, libraries are evolving and they can play a much larger role than they do at present. That's my thought. Well, thank you very much for that comment. I hope you will, do it yourself. You send it to managers, but
oh, I intend to. Yeah, we're going to have discussion about how it can be developed and how it will suit all the goals of all the interests involved, and I think that's important. But we've definitely got those discussions on the cards and plans for them. So yeah, I hope to take it forward. Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would the lady sitting in front of us in black would like to come up?
No.
Go on.
No.
Right, so the lady behind you, do you want to? No.
Yeah, do you want to? No, go on.
I don't want to force you to speak if you don't want to speak.
Well, because I talk all day.
You're hiding.
Yeah. Okay, you get out for that.
If you sit on here.
I must say, this is a really new concept to me, and I thoroughly enjoyed this evening. So well done, Joan, and the library service for making this space something different. Simon and I were working through the menu, and we only got as far as fish, actually. Yeah. Did everybody else? Ah.
We got soup. We got to soup.
Oh, you got to soup?
We went through everything.
Well, because I started saying that what makes work boring, I said, well, people make work boring. Because I think it's up to you to make your day interesting. You've got a responsibility to add something to your day. It's your life, it's your brain. If you're going to make somebody else drain it and turn you into a vegetable, that's your problem. I think the world has got so much opportunities. The problem is, of course, institutions. Institutions sometimes squash our desire to do things differently, and it's them we need to challenge. And I think with all our energies, we can start doing that, and we can be your, what shall I say? We can be your Zeldanites.
It's muses, you see. The word
muses, okay.
Muse is about inspiration.
Okay.
Muse, the ancient Greeks had gods, but they also had muses who were representatives of the different arts.
Okay. But I think we have a responsibility.
And they didn't tell you what to do, they just gave you inspiration.
Great.
And then you make what you liked of it.
Good. And I think you have this evening. You've inspired me.
Okay, thank you. All right, there's a lady in orange.
I'm quite good. I haven't got a lot to say because I'm in my quiet place at the moment. So.
All right. Well, there's a lady in purple behind you.
Oh, me? Purple? Oh, no,
Which one?
There's two of them. Oh, okay, fine.
I was going to say,
Hello. I just I'd just like to thank you for this. It's just been so inspirational, inspiring, and oh, can we do it again, please? Or I'm going to have to nick it to another borough. But we'll I work in libraries, and I kind of work in this one as well. But I just think this is such a great idea, and your manner is just so pleasant and friendly. And I love when you went to Akira, and they were all sitting around saying, "Oh, we've got to plan it," and you said, "No, go for it." Because life is so short. Why, just go for it. You never know what tomorrow will bring. So do it now. And I just think it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
How can we go to all sorts of employers in Lewisham and say, what are you doing to your workers, your employees?
Well,
why didn't you do something more for them than just pay them in salary?
Well, it's interesting because my partner was Philip, and we only got to soup, and I was telling him on Saturday I did something in Croydon, and the mayor turned up, and so I was telling him, why don't you begin your meetings with a poem? He said, no. I said, well, you don't know if it's going to work if you don't try it. His attitude.
It's a brilliant idea.
Yes, I think so. Everybody should begin their day with a poem.
I agree.
I just think, and everybody should learn a poem by heart. That's my mission. I'm on a mission. Because then the poem's with you forever. And then you can share it with people on the bus. It's just incredible. And so I just think we could begin with poetry and maybe a story. Project I'm working on in another borough. It's called Everybody Has a Tree Story. Everybody has a tree story. And you do, when you think about it, everybody has a story about something. Just find that story and share it. And that's my other mission in life, to share.
Let me tell you how I would like to expand this idea that everybody has a story.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody does have a story about their life. And that is the way we want to find out, who are you? Here, I've just met you for 3 minutes, and I don't know who you are, but you have a story, and you have experience. And I cannot understand the world until I know how you understand the world also. And we have a duty, I think, to tell people what we have seen and what we think is wrong and what we think is right and what we hope for and what we regret.
Absolutely.
That is how we discover what the world is. And it isn't enough just to vote once every 4 years. That doesn't tell us very much about you. So this is what, again, I see the library as a place where everybody brings their stories and writes them up. Just as you have books, you'll also have the stories of everybody in the borough, and then you will really know a bit of what life is about, just a bit. And it's so difficult. Then you want to, every time a visitor comes to England, to London, we want their story. Tell us what it's like in China. What did you do in China? We need to know.
Absolutely. Project.
Project. No planning. No planning.
Just do it, exactly. Just do it. I'm going to start it as soon as I get home. On the bus. I'll talk to somebody on the bus as I go home. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Who else would like to talk? I won't force you.
You want to go?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Hi. Again, to reiterate, very inspired. Before I go on to say what I was going to say, when they, with IKEA, the dancing, I thought it could go one step further. I was saying to Antonio was my partner, and I was saying that you mentioned ballroom, but could you imagine that you put on some sort of waltz music or foxtrot or something, and members of the public ask each other to dance in the square? Hey, look, he's thinking. But then we were talking about.
Yes. I would like to develop much more dancing.
Yes. You know, we're talking about life is too short. This morning I was, my daughter leaves home really early, like say 6:15, and so I don't get a chance to speak to her sometimes. So we did this WhatsApps thing, and I said to her, you know, have a great day, and she said she'll try. So I thought I'd write to her. So this is what I wrote to her, and then I decided, oh, I better send this out to everybody that I know. And it's just something about, you know, well, I'll read it to you and you can hear. I said, blessings all. Remember, it's your choice to set the mood for the day. If you have a positive mental attitude with a strong determination to make every situation a positive, then it will affect every situation that you encounter or are involved in. I haven't got my glasses on, by the way. It's up to you to turn a frown upside down and smile. Even in adversities, do a prayer smile. If things are difficult or awkward, what I call a reflective or restorative pause, or readjusting oneself. And my poetry name is Complete with a K because my name's Karen, and so I call that Complete Thoughts. And I just thought, I'll send it to people, and the response, and I sent it to females, male, and the responses that I got from people were like, wow. One person said to me, yes, I'm pausing to set the mood for my day. And that was something that, you know, from a conversation with my daughter. So, yeah.
That's very nice. That's really very nice. And then what do you do next? When you say you're going to be positive, you're going to do something,
yeah.
and then you say, well, what can we add to the world which is missing?
Well, what I do, actually I use the space quite a lot. I'm resident with a writers group in Torridon Library, and we've done recent workshops where we're inspiring women, and the one that I facilitated was called Walk Alongside, and I had the women inspiring themselves, writing about the best bits of themselves in their lives, and had them walking on the red carpet to their own music. So they had to come to me and say, right, this is my theme music, this is what makes me feel proud and feel great that I can, you know, rule the world and do whatever I want to do. And this is from like 11 years old to I think 70 plus, one group, and they all had different types of music, different words. I gave them a trophy, a crown. They can choose whatever props they wanted, and they walked to their music on, well, it wasn't red carpet, it was a long piece of red material, but it was red carpet to them. Yeah. And I said, I want them to use this analogy wherever they are in their lives. So whether they're at home or in their bedrooms or in the bus, think about their theme music and think about their red carpet. And that's what we did in the library. But I spoke to Antonio, I thought, oh, this is a nice place. We can have a nice red carpet around here and bring it here, because Torridon Road is a smaller library and it's a smaller room. So, and then the other things you can do, I've used books where we bring books in to the workshops and you pick something out of it. So you've got a cafe area over there, pick a recipe, do something, you know, talk about how bread rises, the chemistry that you use, what's involved, all those sort of things. Men doing embroidery, they might not do it somewhere else, but they might do it in the library. So come on, try this little stitch, whatever, that sort of thing. So I'm like, my mind just goes, shh, because I'm in the library space. Sorry.
What I'd like to add to that is, a library is knowledge. And we all have in ourselves a bit of knowledge, but there's a vast amount which we don't have. And when we go into a library, we acquire something. And so when you say, tell us about yourself, you know, how you like walking, how you like baking, what have you learned today that you didn't know yesterday? Because that enlarges your life. And that, I think, is what the library is. It expands you. And you're more than just, and if you go and read books about other countries, you become part of that country also, and you're not just stuck in your little world. And that's the function of the library too. And you're not only stuck in your present, you can go into the past. You can see what it was like to live in the past, and you understand how we've got better, but how we've got worse. And then you know what to do about it. Because in many ways, every time we try to do something, something goes wrong also. We must expect that. And in the past we've, invented motor cars. It's wonderful having a motor car, but look at the mess a motor car causes. Look at the jams and the people it's killed, and look at the smell it makes and all the rest of it. And when they invented the motor car, they never thought about it. And I've just been talking to the people who are reinventing Paris. They're going to spend a lot of money trying to make it better, in the same way as the people in London are trying to make it better. And they came to interview, and I was saying to them, they're just planning more tube trains so that everybody in the suburbs can come into the centre. And that means everybody's going to spend their time commuting. Is that the way they want to live? Why don't they invent something more than the train? Why don't they invent something more than the car? They've got to invent something. If this is going to take many years to do, you've got to invent something which is better than what we've got now. And the car is, it was invented 200 years ago, 150 years ago. Can we think of nothing better? What do we got our heads for? Got to invent something better. And that's what one should be doing in these libraries. There's information to get you beyond where you are. And that's the excitement of it. Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
Anybody else wants to talk?
Come on, where's the guys? Come on.
Yeah.
Go on, Phoebe. Fellow Frenchman.
Call me Frenchman.
Frenchman.
Yeah. I think for me, what's interesting is that I tend to think quite a bit. It's part of my French background, I guess. But what I do appreciate about this form of conversation is that usually we are in our little world, and when we talk with other people, we want to talk about our little world, but we don't actually listen to the other person's little world. And that particular format has, in a way, you're giving permission, or more than a permission, much more than a permission. You're opening a door wide open for the other person to express themselves, and I'm not saying they must listen to me. That rule is gone. I may want to talk, but by and large, I'm more interested in the other person, what they've got to say. But it's this format that allows it to happen, and that's what's quite different. And of course, in that process, you learn about that other person. But it's just it's a very simple mechanism. But by and large, the world out there it's about me. It's about my little world, about my views, my political views, my understanding, my solutions. It's me, and it's become more like this, the me stuff. And it has troubled me. So, but because I've been born and kind of educated this way, I can't stop talking about me. So you need a system that stops all that, and that provides a forum for that. So I think this is really, really useful.
Thank you for saying that's very important. And actually, listening to others is much more interesting than listening to oneself.
Yes.
And people don't seem to realize that. Other people are very interesting because they're full of surprises and a different point of view. The idea that we can all have the same opinion is nonsense. We all have different opinions, and it's very interesting how people's lives have been shaped by different experiences, and that is how we discover what life is. We don't know what life is until we know what everybody's life has been.
Yeah.
We're just living one fraction of a life. And that is what is sad. People don't live fully. So what you said is very important, and I appreciate what you say. Well, I'm interested to see that you have a French background in some way. Were you educated in France?
Yeah, I was born in France. Yeah, I just Français. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've came. It's very. I mean, I came to London in the early '70s. I came for the dope because London was great for dope, and I was going to be a rock star. So I came with the guitar and the dope, and lived in a squat for a while. I had a great time actually, but things changed.
Can you remember it?
I had long hair, the whole lot.
I've got pictures.
But what's been very good about that is actually coming out of France into Britain was a way that I could actually listen and change. I think if I had stayed in France, particularly on the drug scene, I don't think it would have been very particularly good for me. So I think sometimes we need to be moved out into another place so that you can learn and change and be exposed to new things.
Yeah, I think it is very people movement. And that is one of the interesting things about Lewisham. You've got 100 nationalities here. And what I find worrying is that many communities don't really communicate with any other community. They keep to themselves. And we've got to try and make them talk to each other. And some of them are not very keen to do it.
Yeah. I'm going to give space for someone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Okay. Has everybody had a go?
Well,
Yeah. Good.
where do I start?
A poem.
A poem. Okay. Beauty is truth. Truth, beauty. That's all you know on earth and all you need to know. Yes. I work for the library service, and I must say something about knowing about people's lives at times when I don't even wish to know is something that I've had to sort of cultivate and encourage and support them in, because as a librarian, as a manager in this building, I'm more of a listener, just like you said earlier, than a talker. And I find that there are times when I'm even a shrink and I'm even sort of providing guidance of all sorts, educational, cultural, recreational, and this is not just for the public but for the staff as well. But the thing about conversations is some of the best conversations I've had have been on a plane when flying. I've met people from all nationalities, all walks of life, and I remember one night when we had a terrible turbulence over the Sahara, and there was this Nigerian doctor sitting next to me, and the turbulence was so bad that she grabbed me and the conversation started from there. She was calling to London on a course, and you wouldn't believe this, the course was being held in my neck of the woods. We spoke for about 2 hours, between the hours of 1 and 3 in the morning, and she turned out to be someone who then provided links for me in parts of Africa that I could never have envisaged. And then conversations again, I see the electronic world as developing it further. I mean, I've got friends on Facebook who I've had trails and trails of in-depth discussions with on all sorts of subjects, from manuka honey and green tea and broccoli and what have you, and venturing into discussing E.L. James's 50 Shades of Grey, would you believe?
Oh, Victor.
And asking for a review on that in my capacity as librarian. And I've had to give it more of a social dimension about the fact that this young man's life started in the most inauspicious of circumstances, but then through fate and destiny and hard work, got to the top of the corporate world. So conversations are in all forms, face-to-face, electronic, and all sorts. And I think it can just go on and on.
Yes, you make me think, that's very good what you say, you made me think that a librarian is potentially a new version of the Renaissance man or the Renaissance woman. You've got to know everything.
You have? Yeah. Yes, indeed.
It's very difficult, but you have an opportunity to learn everything, to at least know a bit about everything.
Indeed, indeed.
Where to find things, at any rate.
It's been quite an informative night. Excuse the pun.
Okay. You've all had your say? All right, I don't want to force anyone. All right, well, I found this exchange very, very useful, and you brought out very interesting, different perspectives. So I thank you for that, and I hope that you will proceed to action, because it's so easy to say nice things and then forget it. Well, that'll be your conclusions.
Yeah, could I think it's from my point of view, this has been an incredible experience, and definitely something that we need to develop. I learned a lot about using libraries in different ways and providing people with opportunities that are new to the way in which we work. I think that we need to study what we've done in the last sort of 4 conversations, but it has been incredible for me, and a lot of people benefited from this. These conversations that we've had are going to result in practical things that we are going to do with Sandra, with you, Joan, with a lot of people who've been involved in these, and with Paul and his ideas about getting other library staff involved. And also, I think that this is something that other people in libraries elsewhere may be interested in. So hopefully we'll talk more about this, and it is something that we want to build on, really. So I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity to have known you and have you sort of lead us into these conversations. So thank you very much, Theodore.
I'm very happy to help you. Please call on me as much as you like, because I think we're doing something positive and something worthwhile. And when the world seems to be crumbling around us, it means we don't have to just accept that everything is going to collapse. We can do something, and here we are. We've got brains. We're in a way we're not as unhappy as many people in the world are, and we can do more than is being done at present. So I thank you for your interest, and let us do something, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So when's the next one, Joe?
Right.